All right. What's up? Thanks for tuning in, everybody. What's up, Heward? What's up, V-Gang Lifestyle? This week's theme is magical healing. What's up, Zufik? All right, so ask your questions whenever you like. We're going to be talking about magical healing this evening. That's what I'm going to divert a lot to. Tomorrow, if you're not on our newsletter list, make sure you get on our newsletter list. What's up, Jody? Because I've got an awesome article coming out. Okay. Matt, would you ever go back in the USA, or do you like it in Ecuador too much? I was just in the USA a few months ago in California doing business and stuff. I go back and forth. I mean, if I had to choose, I would be here. I like it a lot, but I'm down for anything. Down for anything. Okay, so ask your questions. Today we're going to be talking about magical healing. We recommend your top raw food restaurants in California. These are just a couple questions I'm getting through before we go crazy here. We will be most likely in Orange County. Perfect. OLAC. AU space LAC. It's the best restaurant in Orange County. Raw food restaurant in California. In Orange County and probably California. Okay. Got my cucumber juice. Magical healing through kombucha. All right. What's up, Shan Surfer Girl? Okay. I don't have any questions, so I might as well just dive into this. Okay, so we did a article, and oh, dude, I drink distilled water. However, my friend recently recommended Kangen water. Thoughts? That's like a cult, dude. If you thought raw foods was a cult, go to Kangen water. That's like the ultimate MLM cult there is. Anyway, they're more about alkalinity than clean water, I think. I mean, I'm sure the water is purified on some level. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of alkaline water, especially high alkaline. Anyway, here we go. Ask your questions. Magical healing. So what we're going to talk about is the conscious. Someone said I regret being king in my money. Do you still do the raw vegan retreats? Yep, we have one in June. The June raw food retreat is just around the corner, 2 months from now. And it's the only retreat of the year where we do San Pedro, which is a medicinal plant ceremony. This is a very powerful, potent retreat to transform on a emotional, physical, and spiritual level. We have about 24 signed up. I think we could take like 10 more. So we got plenty of space. So yeah, all is good in that realm. If you want to come to June, it's still available. September, there's plenty of space, and so is there December and June for now. Okay. I did an article. If you're not on our newsletter list, go to therawfoodworld.com and put in your email address, because I'm doing crazy articles and lots of fun stuff. People are going nuts about it. If you want to learn more, go to therawfoodretreat.com. Are you using any essential oils? Some have a very high frequency for healing. I used some tea tree oil on my bug bites that I got when I went into the forest to discover a new cacao plantation, which I have on video that is actually coming soon. We found this cacao that it's very difficult to find white chocolate, like the real white chocolate cacao beans these days. We are in the process of I have it all on my website. It's 50% white cacao. The spirulina should be available in 2 weeks. And I went straight into the jungle, got to these cacao trees, and we're in the process of seeing if it can happen, paperwork, things like that, and we will let you know. But I have this video. It's probably going to come on Instagram pretty soon. Because did it even go on Instagram? Because I put it on my Instagram, but I was in the jungle for so many days. I don't know if it deleted or if it actually posted. I don't know. Let me know if anybody saw that on Instagram on my story. I don't think it went out, but I'm going to put it there because it all saved to my phone. Anyway, here we go. The conscious placebo effect. How are we doing on numbers here? Pretty good. What did I post? It was only the beginning saying I was going to the cacao plantation, or did I take you there? Okay. The THE rawfoodretreat.com. The rawfoodretreat.com. Just about going, I think. I'm losing a lot of weight. Will end up being well over 100 pounds. Any way to prevent loose skin? We talked about, didn't you ask me that last week? You got to go probably slow would probably be the best, but it depends how heavy you were. But here we go. Anyway, the conscious placebo effect and magical healing. Healing from disease naturally. Many people have done this. Many people have healed naturally through a raw foods diet, a healthy cooked whole foods diet, many different aspects. So the question is, why do some people heal and some people don't? I'm just looking at all the questions from that. Okay. So the placebo effect. We all know about the placebo effect. The placebo effect is a tool to where people have been given a pill that just has sugar in it without any active ingredients. And when they take this pill without any active ingredients, they tell them that it's going to heal themselves from a disease. And when they take this pill, based on belief, they actually heal, even though there's zero medicinal active ingredients. The placebo effect has worked for Parkinson's disease. Based off belief, they healed from Parkinson's disease, cancer, IBS, practically everything across the board. In fact, the pharmaceutical drugs out there, unless it beats the placebo effect, they can't even make a new drug come into, they can't market it. And it's very funny because it's very rare that a new drug can actually become marketed. Only about 10% of all pharmaceutical drugs or drugs pass the placebo test. Only 10% of them all do, because of how powerful the placebo tool is. That's just crazy. So the placebo effect, there was one study where there was people with male pattern baldness, and some of them were given a medicine and some were given no medicine, but they were all told that it was going to help their hair growth. 42% of the placebo people either maintained their hair amount or it actually even grew in thicker. There was this other study where there was women who claimed that they couldn't get sexually aroused, so they hooked them up to a machine, and what happened was it was like a biofeedback machine, and they were shown stimuli that would turn on most women. And what they did was they sent a fake feedback message to the woman saying that there was vaginal blood flow, and then boom, they genuinely got aroused based off belief that it was actually working. But in general, they could never have that happen. So the placebo effect is a very powerful tool. It has helped heal people from all sorts of diseases. However, the placebo effect can also work against us. Let me give you another example of a placebo study that went down. There was in Japan a study where there was 19 people where they were very allergic to poison ivy. So what they did was they took the poison ivy, and they actually took a leaf that wasn't poison ivy, a fake leaf, and put it on their arm and rubbed it and said that it was poison ivy. And then they took a leaf that was poison ivy and said it wasn't poison ivy and put it on their other arm. The fake poison ivy leaf, everyone broke out, and only 2 of the 19 people broke out with the real poison ivy. So based off belief, these people that are extremely allergic to poison ivy didn't break out, but they broke out to a fake leaf. So based off belief, it actually worked against them. So the issue with the placebo effect is it can actually work against us. And as I was saying, it's a very, very powerful tool in healing people from disease. In fact, they've given people fake surgeries, and they did just as well 2 years later as the people who got real surgeries. It was like the same success rate. Fake surgeries, just by like slitting and sewing it back up in their skin, and they were told that they had the surgery, it healed their knee issue or whatever the situation was. The placebo effect is so powerful, we have to be very careful of it because it also could work against us, like the poison ivy example. For example, the most dangerous aspect of the placebo effect is when you go to the hospital. Generally, when you go to the hospital, this is almost like, how do I even say it? It's like factory farming, man. They just like bring you in. There's no warmth. It depends where you go, but a lot of times there's no warmth. They're just like, get you your drugs and you're out the door. There's like so many people. It's like such an influx. And what happens is we go get tests. First off, let me explain something. When a person has an issue, they don't feel well, they get certain skin breakouts. The human body is a cleansing, repairing machine that needs to be regenerated. We're continually going through ups and downs. It's just like what it does. Some days I'm really healthy, I feel really good, and then there's some times where I've got excess mucus, I've got crazy gas that smells really badly, I can't even think straight, but then the next day I'm fine. So what happens is time flies when you're having fun, and when you're not feeling too good, you freak out, and we go into fear and worry. We're on the internet, everybody's talking about diseases and symptoms. You could look up any symptom you want. I get all the symptoms of all the diseases. It's natural. And then I feel great. It's like an up and down thing. It's the human body, it repairs. Everybody gets different types of breakouts, different types of rashes, whatever it is. This is like normal. This is the human body. It's always trying to reach homeostasis. The better you treat it through diet and less stress and health and exercise, the easier of a job it has to go into homeostasis. It's the balancing of certain levels like our temperature, our acidity, our glucose levels, and things like this. And if it's out of balance, not in the median where it's supposed to be, what's going to happen is the body's going to produce effects on you that are not going to feel good in order to balance you out. Sometimes you feel like you're going to get vomit. Sometimes you feel like you're going to pass out. Sometimes you're going to be nauseous. So all these natural occurrences that happen in the body, people freak out and they feel like they need to go to the doctor, even though 75% of the time they feel good, but they don't realize it because time flies. And when you're hurting on some level, you really feel it. And then time goes really slow and you're wondering what's wrong with you based off of fear and stuff like this. So we end up going to the hospital. We go to the hospital. And in the hospital, they are there to fix you with whatever they can. You're looking to be fixed. So here you go and get tested at the hospital. What they're gonna do is sometimes they're gonna take a blood test. So here you are, strapped in a chair. They're about to take a needle. You're already stressed as you can be because you're freaking out that something's wrong with you. But now they have a needle that they're about to stick in your arm. And now you're like, your heart rate is even pumping more. Your stress levels go up and your cortisol levels go up. And they're about to stick that needle in. Now, first off, as soon as your blood pressure rate changes right then. So you're gonna have high blood pressure. Thyroid levels it changes depending on the day, time of day, the time of season. Blood levels are always fluctuating. You get one this week, in 3 months from now, they're all going to be different. So here you are, they're about to put the same cortisol levels, whack out your blood levels like crazy. So they start taking your blood, and now as they're taking your blood, you're realizing, oh man, I might get diagnosed with something. So now your pulse rate even goes more, and you start freaking out like even more crazy. And so now, all of a sudden, you're sitting there in the waiting room, and they're getting your blood results. You're shaking your leg and things like this. And then the doctor or nurse or whoever comes to you with a black piece of paper and ink and says, you have a thyroid disorder. We need to remove your thyroid. You need to go on thyroxine, or you have a bad gallbladder. If you don't do this, it can cause, if you don't let us remove your gallbladder, it might cause serious issues. Oh, you know what? Another diagnosis might be, you know what, you have this type of cancer. You have 6 months to 2 years to live. So now we were talking about how potent the placebo effect was. They put a fake poison ivy leaf on somebody's arm, and their arm broke out because they thought it was poison ivy. There was no poison ivy, and their arm broke out thinking it was poison ivy. The placebo effect is powerful. People have healed from knee surgeries with fake surgery. People have healed from cancer, Parkinson's disease. How do you heal from Parkinson's disease? Blood sugar levels. People have lost weight. All sorts of things. So here you are in the hospital. They bring you this piece of paper with black ink on it saying that you have this thyroid disorder, suggesting they remove your thyroid and go on pharmaceutical drugs for the rest of your life. All of a sudden, your heart starts going. You're like freaking out. You feel like your whole world has changed 100%. This is the placebo effect working against you. Straight out against you. You're told that you have 6 months to 2 years to live. Bam. Placebo effect working against you. They'll scare you into going chemo, and generally, based off the placebo effect, you'll probably die perfectly in that 6 months to 2 year time frame. Thyroid issue. I know people who have been on have had a thyroid issue, didn't go on medication. They try to do it naturally, but it's like their lifelong illness. They eat. I've seen people eat cooked whole foods. They're eating completely healthy, but they freak out about this thyroid issue. And they say that they're overweight because of it, and they can't let go of having a thyroid issue, even though you eat so healthily, so perfect compared to like the majority of humans today. You have the perfect diet, but you're not letting go of this thyroid issue, which in turn, you're not going to let go of this weight. It's the placebo effect working against you. So for the person who has a thyroid issue and is overweight, if they were given a placebo pill saying this magical pill is going to heal your thyroid disorder and you're going to lose all this weight, if they believed it, just like all these other placebo tests, most likely they're going to heal their thyroid that they're creating in their head, and their weight's just going to fall off. Just like the fake poison ivy leaf gave the person poison ivy. That's like magic. That's like, how does that happen? It's the mind. The mind creates illness. The mind heals illness. The soul is addicted to pain and suffering. So it holds on to its illness, even though you say you want to heal. So, I love using the Tony Robbins example. Tony Robbins was on Dr. Oz in my newsletter at therawfoodworld.com. Sign up. I put a link to this actual interview of Dr. Oz interviewing Tony Robbins. And he was diagnosed with a tumor on his pituitary gland, which is why he's so big. He had abnormal growth. That's why his hands are so big and things like this. The doctors told, you know what? We have to cut your brain open. and do surgery, and we need to put you on all sorts of drugs. What did Tony Robbins do? Most people would have said, okay. He said, no. He didn't accept that placebo against him. He said, no, I don't accept that. He got 100 different doctors' opinions. To this day, he supposedly still has that tumor on his pituitary gland 30 years later. Does this look like a man dying of cancer? Most people would consider this tumor in their brain as like the woe is me, everybody, woe is me, help me, I've got this tumor in my brain. Like, it's my lifelong disease. This guy doesn't even look at it. He's healed from like everything, like he's done what most people never, he's like a motivational speaker. So, what we want to do is figure out why the placebo is so powerful and how it works, and then find a way to duplicate it consciously. That's what we want to do. So let's take a look at this right now. We have the person who heals from the placebo effect from taking a pill. Actually, the placebo effect, its potency works in many different ways. Studies have shown that if you take a tablet, it can work on the placebo effect, but a capsule pill works better. But 2 tablets work better than a pill. But 2 pills work better than a tablet. A shot works better than all of that. A huge machine where you really believe it, like MRI type stuff, looking stuff, not really, but just like machines, that's the most believable. Like these things are gonna super heal you. So why does a person heal from disease when this happens? Okay. I'm just looking at the article I wrote. This is like, I've already like, okay. Okay, so what happens? So the person who is worrying about their weight all the time, the person who's worrying about their disorder, like their thyroid disorder all the time, or the person who has back pain and it's like, they need to be helped around all the time. Like all these people are always obsessing about their issues. It's almost like they're not even conscious about it. They're just gonna completely obsess. They never fight the obsessing, but people obsess about all sorts of different things. So scientists have not been able to discover why the placebo effect works. It's because the spiritual world cannot be measured. So here we have all these people obsessing. How is it that taking a pill heals the person that has 0 active ingredients? So let's take a person who's worried about their cancer, is always worried about it. They're told that this pill is going to heal them. It's going to heal them. There's no doubt whatsoever. And they're like, yes, thank you. They take this pill. All of a sudden, they are convinced that they're healed. It's done. There's nothing to worry about. So the first thing that happens is they stop that obsession. The obsession is gone. They believe 100% that they're healed. Whenever like fear or worry comes in, they just say, no, I took the pill. I'm totally fine. I can't, there's no openings anymore for disease. They have, based off belief, that they have healed. Nothing, no negative energies, anything is going to impact this person into their belief. No doubt, nope, the pill, it takes away doubt away. No fear, no worry, it's done. I'm healed, get away. I can move on with my life now. So why does the placebo effect not work on everybody? Well, one reason might be they didn't believe 100%. So now they're walking, all of a sudden that worry comes in and they're like, uh-oh, what if the placebo didn't work? That could be one reason. Another reason is they're addicted to the worrying, the fear, and they can't, like, all of a sudden it's out of their life. They're like, whoa, wait a minute, this feels too good. Like, they're addicted to it on an unconscious level. So their disbelief starts to come in, and that's why the placebo effect might not work on the 20% of people who, when they got their knee surgeries done, it didn't work for those 20%, but the 80%, it worked 100%. So now that we have an understanding of what is exactly, people are talking about my hair. Okay, so now we have an understanding of exactly what is happening here. The placebo effect enables us to get into a state to where there's no fear, there's no worry, everything, we're healed. We have complete belief that we healed. So what we want to do, because there's a lot of people in our health realm who fall in the percentage of the 30 to 50% of people who the placebo effect doesn't work on. They've tried everything, nothing works. So what this is going to be good for a lot of people watching here. It's quite interesting because there's a lot of people on the standard American diet who have complete faith and trust in doctors, and when they're told they're going to take a pill, they believe it. It's almost like some sort of innocence. There was actually studies showing that people who took meds daily lived longer based off the belief that it was helping them. As crazy as that sounds. But anyway, here's the people. Now here we are. What we want to be able to do is duplicate the placebo effect consciously. So we don't need to be fooled. This is like the ultimate, I would say, freedom on some level, because you are becoming healthy. Like the person who takes the placebo effect, they might have healed that issue, but they did it unconsciously. They're still living, their life is exactly the same. They didn't go through any growth. They're just living their life the way they were. The conscious placebo effect changes you. It gives you more happiness. It gives you more freedom. So what we have to do is duplicate the placebo effect consciously. And this is not taking any pills. It's pretty much getting to the point to where you are not worried or fearful or anything negative about your issue, your weight, you thinking you're overweight, your acne. The obsession needs to stop. In order to lose weight, you've tried everything, right? Except eliminating the obsession of that weight. How do I know this? Because I went through it. The despair, nothing's gonna work. You're just like thrown to the ground, like in such like pain and suffering. Like, I've tried everything. That's just like giving in. So what we want to do is get to the point, I'll tell my story right now, to the point of the placebo effect. So when all of a sudden worry about your weight or your acne or your disease comes in, you need to stand in the midst of it and eliminate the worry. You need to figure out how to get the fear away. You have to figure a way how to get the doubt away. You have to figure a way to believe. The law of attraction, faith, hope, whatever. So it works on the people on the placebo effect. So it can, if you can figure out how to do this consciously, then you will also discover many other things. Okay, let me explain what happened to me, and then you'll have a deeper understanding of how to do this. Okay, so here I've been 100% raw. I've been 100% raw right now for 20 years. about 5 years ago, I started to bleed internally into the toilet every single day, day in and day out. So here I am 100% raw, trying to figure out how to heal. I'm already 100% raw, so what am I going to do? For literally 8 months straight, I did juice fasting. I had slippery elm bark every single day. I seriously was almost juice fasting for 8 months straight, and I became really skinny. I was eating very little, trying to heal this. But I was like, and then like I tried even dry fasting where for 72 hours I didn't, because I had to step it up. This old school pioneer, raw foodie, was saying like, oh, she's already raw. The only way that she could heal was to step it up, and dry fasting is the best way. No food or water for like 72 hours. Try that. No, don't try that. That was insane. Anyhow, so here I was, like my last hope, finished, had some food, blood just like was pouring into the toilet. I was like, what the hell am I gonna do? I tried everything. I'm in despair, like nothing, worried, always wondering, how am I gonna do this? Da, 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 da. And then I realized that I had to heal spiritually. Physically, I've done everything in my power in order to try. I've been on a 100% raw food diet. So what I started to do was I simply did everything in my power to duplicate the placebo effect on myself. Whenever worry would come in, I would just like take it out, despair, every bit of this. It took me a very long time to get to the point where I was completely okay with bleeding into the toilet without any worry, without any fear, without any doubt. And one of the things that helped me was pure logic. Here I am bleeding in the toilet. Most people would go to the doctor, but I refused to go to the doctor. And why did I refuse to go to the doctor? It's due to pure logic. Number one, if I went to the doctor, what could they do for me? They could probably stick something up my rear end or down my throat and with a camera or something and actually be able to pinpoint exactly where my issue was. Okay, that's great. Now what? What are they gonna do now? Well, the options that they would do for a situation like this would be give you pharmaceutical drugs, try to instill doubt by saying my diet is whack, maybe possibly tell me I need to do surgery. And I have many friends who have had their thyroid removed, their gallbladder removed. One friend had an esophagus removed. They're all messed up on so many levels. They wish they never did anything like this. There was one guy, Crystal's husband's dad, who does our social media here, uncle, her husband's uncle. He was dying of cancer. He had cancer. He went and did chemo, died in the hospital. On his deathbed in the hospital, he said he wished he just would have died at home and never did any chemotherapy because of all the suffering he did. Maybe if he never even knew he had cancer, he would have, maybe none of this would have even happened. He would have been fine. It's the placebo effect working against you. Maybe someone has like some sort of rash on their arm. Oh, let's go see if it's cancerous. Why? Okay, there's no benefit in determining if this is cancerous. Or like a bump or something. You know what they say? They say women with breast cancers, there's a study showing the ones that get the checked with this x-ray all the time, and once a year or twice a year, 3 times a year, however often they do it, they're the ones that get the breast cancer more often. Maybe it's the radiation, maybe it's the placebo working against them, maybe it's the fear. So what if you have this bump here and you're going to test if it's cancerous? Let's say it is cancerous. What are they going to do? Chemo, make you more unhealthy, drugs, da 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 da. Okay, anyway, so here I am bleeding. I'm realizing there's no benefit in me going to the doctor, especially a guy like me. There's no benefit. They can't do anything but give me drugs or cut my colon. or stomach or whatever the issue was. I don't even know what it was. So here I am at the point where like, I'm fine. Look, I've been bleeding for 18 months now, or a year to 18 months. I haven't died. Doesn't look like I'm dying. I'm fine. Like, well, the worst that can happen is what? I'm going to die? I didn't think that was going to happen. I have a mission to accomplish. Like, I had belief. I got to the point where I was okay with it. I could actually live with it for the rest of my life, even if I lived to be 100, then being fine. I was okay, 100%. Like, it wasn't even a disease to me anymore, or an issue. I literally produced the placebo effect consciously. Whenever despair would come in, I'm like, I'm done with that. You might have to like stand in the midst of it and fight and do whatever you, don't tell me, I'm not saying it was easy. Fear and worry, all these things, having to fight that stuff. It's almost like changing your spiritual structure on some level. It's not easy, but it's all I cared about. What's the worst that could have happened? Live with it for the rest of my life. Just like the guy who was dying of cancer, he would have rather lived with the cancer for the rest of his life than submit himself to a hospital. I'm not saying hospitals are always bad, but generally what they do to people is kill them, especially this uncle of Joshua Strayer's. He would have rather lived with it, and you have no idea how long he would have lived with it. If the doctors didn't tell him he had 1 to 2 years to live, that placebo working against him wouldn't even have happened. So here you are in the doctor's office. They hand you a piece of paper with black ink on it. Your cortisol levels were pumping like crazy, which alters blood levels like crazy when they stuck the needle in your arm. And you're already freaked out because you thought you might be diagnosed with something, something might be wrong with you. And so based off of a piece of paper with black ink on it, you could literally like lick the paper and then the black ink would start to, I'm just showing you, it's just like an object with ink on it. And based off of this object with ink on it, given to you by an authority figure, the doctor, the belief is so hardcore that this thyroid issue, or the antidote of removing your gallbladder or your tonsils or an adrenal gland or whatever they're asking to remove of yours, or give you pharmaceutical drugs for this or that or this, is based off of black ink on a piece of paper. The placebo effect working against you. Placebo effect is so powerful that people who had a fake poison ivy leaf put on them, who are extremely allergic, broke out in a rash. That's how powerful it is. It's so powerful that only 10% of pharmaceutical drugs pass the placebo test because it's working whenever they do clinical trials on people. It works for practically everything, the placebo test. The placebo is everything. And those 10% that actually pass those drugs, maybe they're swaying the results. Maybe they're completely altering them because there's a lot of money to be made. I'm not making claims or anything like that. I've heard certain things. I've heard people. I met one woman who worked in a clinical study clinic and told me some incredible stories. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying I've heard some crazy stuff go down in them. So we really got to look at this and see what's going on here. So what we want to do, and the reason why I know this works is because I don't bleed anymore. I healed myself. Well, I mean, thank you. I did the work. The raw food diet did nothing for this issue. I was on it forever. So I healed based off belief and doing the work in order to, whenever the worry of this thing came in, stop. You got a weight issue? You got to stop worrying about it. You think it's the diet, you think it's this, or you think it's that. You're holding on to the weight. You got to stop worrying about it. Be happy with the weight that you're at now. You have to, just like I had to accept the possibility of living the rest of my life bleeding into the toilet every single day. I was actually okay with it. I was like, okay, I will I'm alive. I think I could live to be 100 with this blood coming in the toilet every single day. I'm fine with it. I brought it to the point where I accepted it 100%, was totally fine. I'm healthy. This is why I always talk about this. So the person who wants to lose weight, you got to eat healthy, of course, but like generally you've tried everything there, you're eating healthy. You've got to get to the point where you're okay with the weight that you're at and that it's actually healthy. And then 6 to 8 months after being at this point, like day in and day out, the bleeding stops by the grace of God. So with any situation, it's almost like a person is diagnosed with cancer, they're in the cancer forums. They're going nonstop. They're trying every single machine, spending their life savings on $20,000 machines, going in them, freaked out nonstop. This has got to work. This has got to work, but they don't get rid of the manic despair, nonstop, blah, 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 blah. That right there is the disease. That's the disease. Only if I could just get rid of this weight. Only if I could just get rid of this acne. Only if I could just get rid of this cancer. Only if I could just get rid of my thyroid issue. Only if. That only if is the thyroid issue. It's like the body produces this for a purpose. So it's almost like accept it. I'm healthy. It's not impacting me except mentally. Who cares that the doctors put fear in me saying that it's going to cause me to die? No, create your own reality. Don't let others do it for you. And this is not an easy path for me to walk here explaining this to you because on all logic levels, I'm going to be shut down. But I'm telling you, the conscious placebo effect. There's the logic right there. If a person who has Parkinson's disease, they put like some sort of metal plate here or something. I saw on National Geographic. And based on the belief, they healed their Parkinson's disease. It did nothing. IBS healed. Everything healed. They go on the placebo effect. They believe 100% that they're healed. So no more fear or worry can come in because the doctor gave them the pill. They're fine. And one of the biggest diseases is the worrying about our beauty. The weight gain, the zits, the wrinkles, the worry about your face going to degrade more because you're noticing more wrinkles that there's now. That's creating your reality in the future. That's what you're like, you're fearful of it. This is your belief. You believe that your skin is going to get worse. Your belief is you're going to gain more weight. What we want to be doing for our beauty, when you start worrying about your beauty and start obsessing and freaking out about your beauty, that is your beauty. It's a slow process going downhill. Adrenaline goes up, cortisol levels go up, acids are released in the human body. Sixth dimension. Someone said the fifth dimension. So what we want to be doing is never freaking out about our beauty. No matter where you are now, you're worried about your beauty. 5 years from now, you look at a picture of you today, you're gonna be like, oh, I screwed up. I should have realized how beautiful I was then. And then 5 years later after that, you're gonna be like, oh, I was so beautiful then. I screwed up. Ah, I was so beautiful then. I screwed up. And it just goes on and on and on. Appreciate your beauty as it is now. And the worrying about it, the obsessing about it is what degrades your beauty faster. So whenever you're in these situations of you're fearful that your beauty is going to degrade, looking in the mirror, freaking out like, oh my goodness, I got an extra wrinkle here, more are gonna come, or I've got a gray hair, I'm gonna freak out about my gray hair, my whole head's gonna be gray, or I've got zits and it's never gonna go away. That obsessing of looking in the mirror and doing that is the one-way ticket to your beauty degrading over time. That is the placebo effect. You're creating the placebo effect of your future. So what we wanna be doing is about our beauty too. See, now I'm reaching people. The disease is one thing, but now we've got our beauty on the line here. What we want to be doing is accept and be okay with our beauty the way it is and stop that manic obsession, because that is what degrades it more. You're actually good, because 5 years from now, you're going to say, oh, darn, where was I? I was looking so beautiful then. And 5 years ago, 10 years later, you're going to be like, oh, that was looking so good then. So realize you look good now. And then all of a sudden, your beauty is going to stop degrading, and it's not going to stay stagnant. You're actually going to start becoming more beautiful. So we got to like stop this obsession, create the conscious placebo effect right here, right now. We got to create it. We got to fight for it. Whenever the worry comes in about whatever your issue is, no, I accept it. I accepted the fact that I was going to bleed in the toilet for the rest of my life. I was going to still rock this world, this raw food world, public and everything. I was okay living to 100 years old with that. But then all of a sudden it just healed. When I got to the 6 to 8 months after, I was just like, I didn't care anymore. It healed. Just gone. What the hell? And I went for 2 years manically in despair, trying to figure it out, crying to my friends, whatever. So, and I was talking about the hospital. That's generally, I'm not saying every single time, it's the placebo effect working against you. That piece of paper with the black ink, accept everything. All the symptoms you have, all humans get them. It's part of the human body. It's made out of flesh, bones, blood. It's always going out of whack. There's lots of stress in this world. There's lots of worry and fear. You're gonna have to it's a lot of stress on the human body. Working nonstop, living life, breathing air, drinking, eating food. The body processes everything. The body's always trying to reach homeostasis, balance of acidity, temperature, glucose levels, all sorts of different things. And if it goes, the better you treat it, the easier it has to reach that balance. But certain times, you're way out of balance and symptoms are gonna occur in order to get you into balance. You might feel like you have a headache. You might feel like you're gonna pass out. You might have crazy breathing. Your blood pressure might be going crazy at this moment in time. Many possibilities and scenarios. I've experienced all the symptoms, all sorts of weird stuff. It's normal. Just realize you're fine. If you feel like you need to stop eating Twinkies, then stop eating Twinkies. You know what you need to do. Going to the hospital, if you know your issue is dietary, you know that's the issue. But you can't control that, because most people can't control that. They don't have the willpower to. So then they go to the doctor. Here's their issue. They know that what they really need to do. So they go on the drugs. It's like the fear, the worry takes away that pure logic. It takes away the logic to where we actually do things like that when we actually know what we need to do. So we go on drugs or remove an organ or whatever we have to do. Have you heard about the increase or rapid aging in people on ketogenic animal-based diets versus vegetarians or vegans? It depends how they do the ketogenic diet. It could be a very healthy thing or a very damaging thing. Some ketogenic guys will go and have like 20 pieces of bacon in a meal. Some will eat 6 sticks of butter in a meal. Like, it depends what you're doing. That will probably cause rapid aging, is my guess. But then there's people who eliminate all processed foods, go on a ketogenic diet, can control how much they put in their mouth. All they're doing is eating eggs with avocado and goat cheese in the morning. They're having a salad in the afternoon with animal protein. And maybe that's all they're even eating in the day. And they're probably extremely healthy as can be. And I know vegetarians and vegans who are rapidly aging because they overdo it the other direction. Vegetarians will eat crazy amounts of refined sugars and processed starches, which are not whole foods. So it's not like drop raw food, ketogenic, there's battles going on. It's just like, who cares? It's about the person. So tomorrow we got an incredible newsletter coming. It's about the pineal gland. I think that's all I'll say. Go to the rawfoodworld.com and join the newsletter list, and then you'll be able to see this article. But basically, we want to be able to get more consciousness to where we actually have the ability to harness that willpower. Because what we talked about in last videos and stuff like this is many people don't have control of what they put in their mouth. Because when they get to that cravings, the withdrawal aspect, the withdrawals is so hardcore, and the cravings, and then emotional and spiritual issues come up. There's so much pain and suffering in these moments to where they actually can't control themselves, and they don't want to eat the poor foods, but then they'll eat the Twinkies or whatever, and they bounce back the other direction because they can't control themselves. So what we want to be doing is like, okay, why can't we control ourselves? What is this pain and suffering that got us to eat these poor foods? Was the pain and suffering so bad that you lost control to where you couldn't choose what you were going to put in your mouth? So when we can, like, at any moment, any of us can like focus and feel our entire reality. Okay, so we all know about the 5 senses, right? We've got hearing, sound, taste, sight, and smell. So at any moment, we could like focus, and we can actually see, we could feel, use all our 5 senses and experience everything around us. Like, okay, now I can actually see the computer, I'm focusing, here I am, looking at myself. I could feel this cucumber juice. I smell the cucumber juice. We can actually like use all our senses at one given time, at any moment, and focus, and we can witness everything. But there are other things happening at the same time in regard, like, so the 5 senses we can all experience, but there are sensations and feelings that we witness and experience that go beyond the 5 senses, such as the fear, the worry, the doubt, the disbelief, the desire for the opposite sex. Like, so many different things that have nothing to do with these 5 senses. Power, ego battles, all these different things. Anything that's not part of these 5 senses is the 6th sense. So basically, many of us think, oh, I wish I could open, you know, my 6th sense and experience it, but we're all experiencing it all the time. So what we want to be doing is figuring out, focusing. We need to be able to get into such a health state to where we can actually have control of our own reality, to choose what we put in our mouths and stuff like this. So my article tomorrow talks about the pineal gland in many different traditions. They sometimes call it the third eye or whatever you want to call it. The pineal gland has been known to be the sensory organ of this sixth sense. And what happens is over time, it has the potential to become calcified for various reasons. And what we're going to be doing in this article at therawfoodworld.com tomorrow, if you want to join our newsletter list, is go into all of those details on how we can reawaken that to where we have the ability to actually be able to focus and be more conscious of this sixth sense. Now, I'm not trying to talk about this in a new age spiritual way. It's just there's five senses, and anything that you experience that goes beyond the fifth sense is the sixth sense. It's that simple. We all know that emotions happen, all sorts of things happen. And that's what we're kind of going into tomorrow at therawfoodworld.com on my newsletter. So you want to go to therawfoodworld.com and type in your email address in the join our newsletter list space. Okay. Oh, wow. Do you think fasting on green juice is better than just water fasting? No. I think the best thing to do is make permanent dietary improvements, because fasting just whacks you out. Why are you fasting? Why? You're like trying to expedite something. All you have to do is make permanent dietary improvements in your lifestyle. And that's like a lifelong fast. That's like money in the bank. In the long run, you're not going to need pharmaceutical drugs because you're not eating that nonsense. It's like permanent dietary improvements are better than any fast. I have pounds and take medication. I know I don't need it, but I freak myself out thinking I'll have an attack. So I take the pill and the fear goes away. This is so extremely true. So maybe it's good for you. You're using it as the placebo effect. The timing of your message is perfect. Perfect. Okay. Just looking at questions. People are agreeing. You were just thinking about this concept today. I believe you were there, but avoided showing sign. Oh, okay. So we got that down. I'm just seeing if there's any questions I missed. This is making me feel joyous. Thank you. Great. Feeling so inspired right now. Great. That's like the goal here. That's the goal. The thing is, when we're going to get inspired, but people could get inspired very easily, but will it last? Because when you start doing this type of thing, it's going to it's almost like getting tested to the extreme. You got to just it's going to feel like you're failing. It's going to try to throw you in despair. It's like thrown to the bathroom floor. So you got to harness that willpower that we're talking about. Do you have the foundation to be inspired and keep it up in regards to no matter, Instagram's about to fall off, I'll put it back on. No matter how difficult it is, it feels like you're failing, almost like it feels like you failed 100%. That's trying to take your belief away. You could feel like you failed, but still stick to it. In one moment, you're going to be on the floor crying, but then if you just get through that, it'll just be like anything else. We go into this in the willpower video on my YouTube channel. You should watch that. So, are you strong enough to keep it going after being inspired? Majority aren't. Instagram died. We're gonna do another one right here real quick. Instagram live. Boing. Okay. Does one need a visa as well as a passport to Ecuador? Not 3 months you get free. Okay. How do you get your hair straight? My hair's not straight. What's up, Rod? Okay. So Heward was asking me how many miles do I run per week? I've stopped running. I'm going to start it up again. I've been doing crazy yoga, like an hour and a half a day. It's been insane. My body is transforming, like in a major way, huge way. It's crazy. Okay, so we nailed all these. Now we're coming back to news.therawfoodworld.com/live. Okay. Matt, not saying this would be the way to go, but do you think that if a person had full faith in an oncologist, that the healing from the mind would actually make the chemo look like it works better than it does? I would fear chemo so much that the fear would probably kill me before the chemo. That belief thing is very powerful. It's very powerful. But it's like saying, like, let's cut off my arm. And then, like, the chemo is going to cause negative effects. Maybe you'll get through it, but if that's what's needed for a person, then it's kind of ridiculous. People are liking it. Okay. Tomorrow's newsletter is going to be very potent and profound. I actually have to finish it up with this. Okay. Two years is a long time to be working on healing yourself and not seeing results. How did you stay strong in your faith and not doubt yourself during that time? Well, for the first 8 months, I wasn't strong and I doubted every last thing. There was nothing I could do. That was 8 months of it. And then when I discovered what I had to do, it's almost like I didn't lose hope. I lost hope in the physical realm of healing this thing. There was nothing I could do physically. So after that moment in time, I was on a mission in face of all the fear, doubt, worry, being thrown to the ground, despair, getting back up again, trying and trying for 8 months. The way I did it was, I was okay. There was no option unless I was going to go to the hospital. So logically, I said to myself, I'm healthy. I was healthy. I'm 100% raw. I'm bleeding internally. People bleed all the time. I was willing to live with this issue for the rest of my life. I was willing to, and be healthy. It wasn't that bad. It was just the toilet water turning red every single day. I mean, like, from a logical standpoint, I mean, I had pain in certain areas, but like, I wasn't fearful anymore. It was just a matter of, I'm okay with this. I look good. I'm eating again. I was willing to go forever and be okay with it as part of my mission. I knew deep down inside I was going to heal, like with this process. I was even told by friends, you know, things that were a little bit discouraging, but I said, no, I don't believe that. So it was more of like a mission. It was like, okay, I'm getting rid of the physical worries and this thing I didn't care about anymore. It was more of a mission. It was a mission. I was excited for this mission. I was excited to go through whatever I needed to go through in order to overcome this, to teach other people. It was like probably one of the reasons why I went through this, but to like have myself grow, be okay with it. Like, if I can handle that among everything else I went through in the last 7 years, I'm gonna be a freaking rock. You don't want to mess with me. I have been through the ringer. and stayed like, the goal was to like stay solid. Like, that was everything to me, was the spiritual growth and spiritual, like, so I'm happy that it happened. I want to prove myself on some sort of level. Okay. Here's another one. I don't want to like throw people off here with this question. Okay, first off, okay, so many people are probably wondering why I was bleeding. And I'm going to say that the reason was not the physical reasons. I think it was more of a spiritual thing. But what, as many people know, I was addicted to enemas. I actually did them every day for over 10 years. And I was also at one point drinking Truly Natural Vitamin C, which is a vitamin C product. I would put sometimes 8 tablespoons of it in coconut water while I was experiencing this. And I later learned that the product I was doing this with was 85% maltodextrin, which is extremely bad for your beneficial bacteria and things like this. But anyway, one day I just looked in the toilet and all of a sudden I was dripping blood. I stopped enemas 3 years ago, and I haven't done one since. I don't plan on doing it ever again. And it was like one of the best things that ever happened to me, not only for everything we talked about today, but also I was kind of mentally, not physically, dependent on them. So the question is here, did the coffee enemas, no, it was water enemas, every day for 10 years. Did your bowels work fine after that? Or did you have a problem going correctly? It was all mental. So the way I got over that, for people that have issues with this, I'm glad that it's like getting late here and the numbers are dying down because this isn't really for everybody, was I had to mentally get over it. So what I did was, the very first week that I stopped, the only way you fear about waste being in your system and stuff like this when you're addicted to it. So the first week I did a juice fast for 2 days after not doing enemas for 5 days. And so what would happen was I'd only put liquid in, but I would still poo. So it was almost like, hey, this is kind of working for my mental aspects. So then what happened was the next week, I didn't do enemas for the entire week. And then on the 7th day, I just drank juice. I would only put juice in, but poo would still come out of me. And then I would do that every single week whenever I felt backed up or something because of my mental issues, even though it's normal to experience like digestion, gas, and stuff like this. So every week I would fast 1 time a day, juice fast, when I wasn't feeling well, 1 to 2 times a week. And it got to the point where I just all of a sudden, after 2 months of doing that, I just stopped because the mental thing was gone. I used it as a crutch. And so my bowels work so ridiculously good. Probably best in the world. Not best in the world, but like really good. I'm extremely clean. Been raw for 20 years and did enemas. Enemas are really powerful, especially for healing disease. I overdid it, way overdid it. I don't feel like I need to do it anymore. I'm extremely clean now. But I did that every day for 10 years. Do you realize how clean I am? Okay. Okay, so Anne Wigmore helped so many people, and she also wanted help her dog by doing enemas for him or her too, laugh loud. I wrote that in my most recent article on, oh yeah, listen to yourself. So Anne Wigmore, she was really good at helping heal people, but based off her belief system, she felt like she needed to do an enema on herself 2 times a day for the rest of her life. And she took it to the point of giving her dog enemas. I mean, this is like a real respected woman who like people listen to and stuff like this. And she was recommending everybody else do enemas, just like she did. So you should listen to yourself versus other people. Just like me, I did enemas for 10 years. I told you I have like a kind of like an OCD tendency to not want to snack in between meals because I'm scared it's going to give me myself digestive upsets. Based on my belief, I teach not to snack in between meals. So it's like, I might be, and at some point I'm gonna be like this crazy raw food pioneer, 80 years doing raw food. I'm probably gonna be looked up to in a big way, and people are gonna want to listen to me. What I'm saying is listen to yourself, because most people have tendencies like this, like doing enemas every day or giving enemas to your dog, or natural hygienists will say, don't set your bone into place if you break it, because that's not what an animal would do. Only do what animals do. Like, but they have good information, but you want to like listen to yourself. You don't want to go on people's like madness and take what they have to say as what is good to do. She tried so hard and didn't deserve how she died. She lived an interesting and tough life before coming here from Russia. She probably had a difficult time healing emotionally because of it. So I think that's why she did so many enemas. Yeah, there were some other crazy things that happened with Anne Wigmore. I knew her right-hand man, who I had some talks with. I'm not going to get into that now. I'm kind of just like waiting for the right timing. In last week's Hangout, I kind of mentioned it by mistake. But yeah, it was interesting. Okay. She says, I'm glowing. Best Hangout ever. I'm glad. I'm glad, everybody. Okay, so okay, everybody. So what a hangout. Join the newsletter list at therawfoodworld.com. We actually have free shipping on our website right now till April 30th. We have an incredible newsletter coming out tomorrow about the pineal gland. We've been talking about how to heal naturally. This is Magical Healing Week this week. I'm live every Tuesday night at this time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm live on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and also news.therawfoodworld.com/live. If you join our newsletter list, I always announce like an hour before I'm about to go live, which is every Tuesday night. It's always the same. So thank you for tuning in, everybody. You must feel amazing now in your life, finding renewed strength in yourself, gives others strength. Also, great hangout. Yeah, I'm on a mission now. I've been sending newsletters out quite frequently, trying to inspire, help, share insights. I'm going crazy. I'm back, driven by a new force here. I'm excited about it. Stick with us here. You're about to see some amazing things. This is Monarch, the Wholefoods List. Thanks for tuning in.